ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये शुक्लां भरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। We were seeing the 33rd shloka in the previous class. And this 33rd shloka, I think we are half done with it. There are 8 namas in the 33rd shloka, and we had completed 4. Sorry? 32nd shloka. Bhuta Bhavya Bhavannata. We completed the 32nd shloka and then we began the 33rd shloka. Yugadikrit, Yugavartaha, Naikamaya and Mahashanaha we have completed. And we saw that there are 8 namas starting from 300 to 307. 8 namas are there in this 33rd shloka. And we had completed up to 303. Nama number 303, which is Mahashanaha. Mahashanaha means the greatest consumer, because Bhagavan is the one who consumes the entire universe at the time of Pralaya. He is called Mahashanaha, the greatest consumer. Adrishyaha, that is the 304th nama. Sarvesham buddhi indriyanam agamyatvat adrishyaha. Shankara says, Sarvesham buddhi indriyanam agamyatvat adrishyaha. He who is not an object of knowledge for the buddhi or the sense organs. Indriyanam, indriya means sense organs, both karma indriya and jnana indriya. Organs of knowledge and organs of action. He can never become an object of experience. This is what is intended to be communicated. That is, where we know something. When I say, this is black color. When I say this mic is black in color, this mic is an object of my knowledge. Therefore, the mic becomes the object and I, who is talking about this mic, is the subject, right? Who knows this mic, who is experiencing this mic, is the subject. The object of experience is called drishya, and the subject who is experiencing is called drik. Drik. So this is drishya. In this example, the mic is drishya and I, the subject, is drik. Now, Bhagavan, when I talk of knowledge of Bhagavan, is Bhagavan an object of my knowledge? When I talk about knowing Bhagavan, because right from the beginning we have been seeing there are 2 stages. One is Ishvara Aradhana and two is Ishvara Jnanam. Now, when we talk of Ishvara Jnanam, is it about knowing Bhagavan as an object that is different from me? If I say Bhagavan is different from me and I know Bhagavan as somebody who is different from me, then it means I am the knower and Bhagavan is the known, right? Then I become the Drik and Bhagavan becomes Drishyam, right? So, here Bhishmacharya makes it very clear, in alignment with all the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita and all other Shastram, that Bhagavan is not an object of experience. He is not an object of any of the senses. He is the very subject itself. He is Drik. He is the knower. He is the very knower of all the objects in this universe, including time and space. Everything that is objectified, including time and space, who objectifies is the one who objectifies has to be a Chetana Vastu. No inert substance in this world can become a knower. To be a knower presupposes sentience, right? It needs to have buddhi. Therefore, no insentient or inert object can be a knower. It has to be a Chetana Vastu, and Bhagavan is the very subject who can never be objectified. Just like the camera that is here right in front of me. There are two cameras here in front of me, one for Teams and one for YouTube. Both camera are adrishyaha as far as the viewers are concerned, because that is the very subject that is objectifying everything in the class, right? So Bhagavan is the very subject. Even in Srimad Bhagavata Dashamaskanda, you have this Gopika Geetam, right? While it is sung as a very emotional song of Gopika missing Krishna, the tattvas are very beautifully intertwined along with the song there, sung by the Gopikas. They sing, Nakalu Gopika Nandano Bhavan Akila Dehinam Antaratma Drik. Hey Krishna, we have been thinking that you are some Nandagopa Yashoda's son. You are not the son of Nandagopa or Yashoda. It is just a body in which you have another body in which you have manifested. But who you are originally, you are the Antaratma Drik. You are the very I, the very subject in everything, in every being. Therefore, Bhagavan being the Drik Swarupam, being the very subject, he is not subject to any objectification. And the entire world is nothing but the manifestation of Parameshwara. That is Adrishyaha. 305. Vyaktarupaha. Vyaktarupaha. Shankara says, Swayam prakashamanatvat vyaktarupaha. When he is not an object. Now, when we say that Bhagavan is not the object and cannot become a known, right? Because that which is a known becomes an object of experience and therefore different and therefore limited, right? And an object of experience which is not the subject will mean it is inert, right? Therefore, when I say Bhagavan is different from me and he is not the subject, I am pulling down the status of Bhagavan. I am telling that he is limited. I am telling that he is inert. I am telling that he is not all pervading. Right? So, when he is not an object, now the question is, then are you saying that he can never be known? Because if he becomes known, then he will become an object. So, does it mean that he can never be known at all? Then what are we talking of Ishvara Jnanam? Where is the question of knowing Bhagavan when he is not the object? The answer is, he is knowable not as an object but as the very subject. He is recognizable as the very subject. Swayam prakashamanatvat. He is already evident. Instead of saying knowable, we can say that he is already evident, self-evident as the subject. Swayam prakasha atma. The self-evident atma. He is evident as the I of everything. And he is the one who lights up everything. And this is the only way he can be recognized. Pratibodha viditam matam. Kenopanishad says, Bhagavan, how to recognize Bhagavan, how to know God. God can be known as the very witness of every thought in your mind. That you are aware of the thoughts in your mind. As the Sakshi of the mind, he is very evident. Also, Stula Rupena Vyaktam Rupamasyeti Vyakta Rupaha. He is called Vyakta Rupaha also because the second meaning that Shankara gives is because the entire Jagat is his manifestation only. And because he has manifested as the entire Jagat, he is Vyakta Rupaha. So the first meaning was Swayam Prakashamanatvat, he is Vyakta Rupaha. He is self-evident as the very Atma, as the self, as the subject, as the I in every being. Therefore, he is Vyakta Rupaha. And because he is the one who has manifested as the entire Jagat, he is Vyakta Rupaha. That is the 305th Nama. 306th. Sahasrajit. Shankara says, Sahasrani Asuranam Yuddhe Jayati iti Sahasrajit. You would have got the meaning. I think Sanskritam is understandable, not very difficult, right? Sahasrani Asuranam Yuddhe Jayati. Thousands of warriors. He has won over thousands of Asura warriors. Thousands of Asura. The idea is, in every Purana, Itihasa that talks of Bhagavan winning over Asuras, what idea is conveyed through all the scriptures is that Dharma wins over Adharma. Bhagavan's idea is not to go and kill somebody. Before he does Vada of every Asura, he gives them a chance. He repeatedly, not once, but many times, he repeatedly tells them. Because the idea is to kill the Adharma, not the Adharmi. Always, Adharma is only, Bhagavan tries to avoid. He stops that person from doing Adharma. He tries to do it, he tries to convince him, he tries to warn him. And in spite of all that, if that person is continuing to do Adharma, then there is no other way to stop Adharma but to kill that person. So what is being won over is Adharma. This is in fact the Tatparya of Mahabharata. Yato dharmas tato jayaha occurs for 13 times in Mahabharata, indicating that it is the Tatparya. that is the 306th Nama, Sahasrajit. 307, Anantajit. Shankara says, Sarva Bhutani Yuddha Kridadishu Sarvatra Achintya Shakti Taya Jayati. Sarva Bhutani Yuddha Kridadishu Sarvatra Achintya Shakti Taya Jayati. Iti Anantajit. Bhagavan is the one who has Ananta Shakti. And his Ananta Shakti is Achintya also. It is something that one cannot contemplate. How big his Shakti can be. It cannot be perceived. Because it is infinite. And your mind that is finite is not capable of perceiving the total Shakti of Bhagavan. It is only some fractions of his Shakti that we can perceive. In the entire universe, there are variety of beings with variety of skills. If you talk of human being, there are people with special skills. It is hard to find a duplicate for them, right? Or you take every competition, every sport, one defeats the other. One is the world champion today, and next year it would be somebody else, right? So, every combat, every sport, every competition, one defeats the other and excels over the other. Even in business, you have certain brands which are topping the market, and then after some time, you have some others. Even in software, Yahoo was once the king, and today it is Google. Tomorrow it could be somebody else, right? So, every person has a special skill because of which one excels over the other. And it is Bhagavan who has manifested in the form of the skill of that person, making him excel in every field. In every field, whoever is victorious, whoever is excelling, and whoever is the champion, the nature of the person or the ability of the person to win over, the Shakti of the person to be on the top is nothing but the Shakti of Bhagavan. And he has how many such Shaktis? Infinite Shaktis, because it is his Shakti that manifests in everybody in different ways. Therefore, he is Anantajit. Earlier Nama we saw he is Sahasrajit because he makes Dharma victorious over Adharma. He makes Dharma win over. Why does he make Dharma win over? Why is he being Sahasrajit and he makes Dharma win over Adharma? Because without the pursuit of Dharma, one cannot qualify himself for moksha. Anantatmakataya, Anantatmaka Brahma Jayati. Sorry, not Anantatmaka Brahma, Anantatmakataya. It is Anantatmaka Brahma Jayati. How? Through the Purushartha of Dharma. Because Dharma wins, one is able to qualify himself for moksha and pursue the Purushartha of moksha. And one qualifies, one enables, Bhagavan enables one to qualify and win over the Purushartha of moksha. Therefore, Brahma Jayati. And therefore, he is Sahasrajit and he is the one who is Anantajit. He wins over what is Ananta for his Bhakta. He wins it for the Bhakta. That completes the 33rd shloka. 34th shloka. Please repeat once after me. Ishto vishishta shishteshtaha Shikhandi nahusho vrushaha Krodaha krodakrit karta Vishvabhahurmahidaraha. This 34th shloka contains 10 namas from 308 to 317. 308th nama is Ishtaha. Oh, yeah. 308th nama is Ishtaha. Shankaracharya gives two meanings for Ishtaha. He says, the first meaning he says, Paramanandatmakattvena priyaha ishtaha. This he builds up over a discussion from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That is how he derives this meaning. Anything that is ishtaha, meaning the most desirable. Anything that is ishtaha, from ish dhatu, most desirable. It attracts you because it evokes the pleased self in you. Anything that which is ishtaha is attractive because it evokes the pleased self in you, right? You are happy and you go after it because you love the pleased self in you. You love that because you love the pleased self in you. And therefore, anything that becomes or that evokes the pleased self becomes ishtaha for you, the most desirable. Now the question is the ananda, the pleased self, isn't that something that is anitya? Because it comes and goes. It doesn't stay, right? It comes and goes. So does it mean it is my attribute? It is the attribute of the self? Shastra says, no, it is not an attribute, but the very nature of yourself. And that is why whenever you feel happy, whenever you recognize your pleased self, you feel at home. You feel very comfortable. Otherwise, at sorrow you should be very comfortable, but you are not at comfort, right? If you are comfortably sorrowful, if your nature is sorrow, then you should be happy being sorrowful, right? But you are not happy when you are at sorrow, which means being sorrowful is not your nature. Your very nature is ananda, and that is why whenever I experience ananda in any given object or experience, I feel comfortable because I am with myself. I am myself. That is why I am comfortable. Atma is the source of ananda, in fact the only source of ananda. These are shocking revelations by Shastra if you are a first time student to Shastra, because Shastra first tells a student who comes with so much of sorrow, heavy heart to Shastram, thinking that listening to all this will merely give punyam and he will be able to manage something out of it. That's all one is aware of when he comes to Shastra. So when he comes to Shastram, the first lesson taught is, you are not sorrowful. What? I am experiencing sorrow. Gradually then Shastram says, yes, you are experiencing sorrow. So you are the knower and sorrow is the known. Therefore sorrow cannot be you. Therefore you are not sorrowful. And Shastram tells, when you are unhappy, it is not your very nature. That is why you are not happy being unhappy. You look for a change, right? You are not happy being unhappy. Therefore, while you are happy, you recognize that you are very comfortable and you want it to be that way. Actually, what you want, you are actually wanting to be yourself. What you go behind is nothing but your own nature. What you seek is nothing but your own nature. And Shastram says, you are the very source of the happiness. The happiness that you experience in the object is nothing but the manifestation of the Ananda Swarupa, of your Ananda Swarupa. Shastra says, so you are not sorrowful. That is the first bombshell. The second thing is that you are Ananda Swarupa. And the third thing it says is, you are the only source of Ananda. There is no other source of Ananda in this world. And when we talk of Ananda, these are all big discussions in the Upanishads. Very beautiful to take up the study of Upanishads and Gita. And Ananda implies Purnatvam or Anantatvam. Paramananda Swarupa Atma is Purnaha, is complete. When we say Purnaha, it is Antaf Purnaha, Bahish Purnaha. It is said Antaf Purnaha, Bahish Purnaha, Kumbha Ivarnavaha. Kumbha Ivarnave. Just like how you immerse a small pot inside an ocean. Say you are going in a boat and you immerse a small pot inside the ocean, right? Inside the water. It is ocean inside, or it is water inside, and it is water outside, right? Just like that, Bhagavan being everything inside and outside, he is Purnaha. And this Purnatva alone is desirable, is Ishtaha, which is Bhagavan. So this is the first meaning of Ishtaha. The second meaning is, Shankara says, Yajnena Pujita itiva Ishtaha. The first meaning was given from Ish Dhatu. Ishtaha can be derived from Ish Dhatu, which means desired or desirable. Ishtaha can also be derived from Yaj Dhatu, which means worship. Because he is the one who is worshipped. Yajnena Pujita itiva. Of all the yajnas, the one who is being worshipped. Through all the yajnas, the one who is being worshipped is he. Therefore, he is Ishtaha. Bhagavan alone is the one who is worshipped through various yajnas. This recalls me to the previous class where I actually misquoted a shloka from Gita. I think I mixed up two shlokas. I am thankful for the student who pointed that out. The shloka, the right shloka is Adhyeshyate chaimam dharmyam samvadamavayoho jnana yajnena tenaham ishtasyamiti mematihi. I think the first line I mixed it up with some other shloka. And that's why the student found it difficult to plot the shloka in the 18th chapter. Here he says, Bhagavan talks of the glory of Gita in the 18th chapter, the end of 18th chapter. He says, of all the yajnas, I am the one who is worshipped. I am Ishtaha. But the greatest of the worship is the very study of Gita. The Jnana Yajna is the greatest of yajnas, and I am the one who is being worshipped through Jnana Yajna. So what is happening every week in Vishnu Sahasranamam class is nothing but the greatest of yajna, Jnana Yajna, where Bhagavan is the one who is the subject of this text, right? Ishvara Jnanam. Therefore, he is the one who is worshipped through the study of Vishnu Sahasranamam. And in fact, Bhagavan says this is the greatest form of my worship. 309 Avishishtaha. So he is Ishtaha and he is Avishishtaha. Avishishtaha means, Shankara says, Sarvesham Antaryamittvena Avishishtaha. Sarvesham Antaryamittvena Avishishtaha. When Atma is pointed out as Ananda Swarupa, now one can have a doubt. The teacher is telling Atma is Ananda Swarupa, the self is Ananda Swarupa and it is infinite, right? So the student may have a doubt, maybe your Atma is Ananda Swarupa, not mine, right? So this could, drive an idea that there are many Atmas. Your Atma is different, my Atma is different, his Atma is different, her Atma is different, their Atma is different. There are many Atmas. If this idea comes in, that there are many Atmas, then where is the question of Atma being limitless? Right? If there are many Atmas, then every Atma has to be limited only. Then Atma becomes, Bhagavan becomes Vishishtaha. Right? Subject to limitation. And he has, and this Atma is different. Right? This Atma is very sorrowful. Okay, and that Atma is little sorrowful. And the other Atma is totally insentient about sorrow. His own sorrow, and he doesn't care for the other person's sorrow also. He lives his own world. And there is another Atma who is, totally insensitive and who is always Ananda. Right? So, every Atma, it is as though, you attach attributes to every Atma and calling that every Atma is limited, because when you say this is different and this is different, then each one limits each other, right? So it will become Vishishta then, having distinct qualities. But Atma is all pervasive. Chaitanya Swarupa Atma is all pervasive and there is no second Atma at all. Not possible, because it is all pervasive, it is infinite. When you say it is all pervading and infinite, how many Akasha is possible? How many spaces are possible? There is only one space possible, right? Just like that, there is only one limitless Ananda Swarupa. And any object that you talk of, qualifying it with attributes, it is Vishishta. Whereas Atma being infinite, even for the very Akasha, you cannot, it is hard to qualify Akasha with attributes, right? You can't say dirty Akasha. You can't say smelling Akasha. The smell or the pollution, everything happens maximum only to the air, not to the space. You can never pollute space. Or you can never clean up any pollution in space, right? You can never, wet the space. Space does not get wet because of water. Space does not get burnt up in fire, in the heat, because it's raining outside. Actually, it is raining outside here. So, because it is raining, it doesn't mean that the space is getting wet. Or because it is hot summer, it doesn't mean the space will get burnt up, right? So, when a product of this creation, Akasha, one of the most subtle products in this creation, is not qualifiable with attributes, how can you talk of the infinite Atma, which is the very cause of Akasha, to be qualified by any attribute? Therefore, Bhagavan, being the Antaryami, the very self, the Atma, the indweller of every body, Antaryami, is indeed Avishishtaha, though he as though appears to be limited by the boundaries of this body, he is in fact not limited by the boundary of any body. No attribute limits him. He is avishishtaha. And he is the very self. How do you know he is the very self? Upanishads are there to reveal this, and there is also the famous shloka in Bhagavad Gita that says, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhuta Ashaya Stitaha. I am the self in every being. And Brihadaranyaka Upanishad makes it very clear in Maitreyi Brahmanam that the self is the most loved one. The most loved is one's own self. And Atma being different, not being different from the self. Atma not being different from the self becomes the most loved, becomes Ishtaha. And Atma is also Avishishtaha, because it is not peculiar. It is universal. Therefore, Bhagavan is both Ishtaha and Avishishtaha. 310. Shishteshtaha. Shankara gives meaning so beautifully to this nama. Every nama he has given the commentary very beautifully, and this one is no exception to it. He derives the nama of Shishteshta in 3 stages. Okay. The first derivation he gives is Shishtanam, that is Vidushanam, Ishtaha, Shishteshtaha. Shishta meaning those who follow dharma, who have taken up dharma to be the path of their life and who lead a life according to Vedic injunctions, according to the do's and don'ts prescribed by the Vedas. A Vaidika. When we say a Vaidika, it does not mean Kula Brahmana. It does not mean only people who are born in the Brahmin community are called Vaidika. Anyone, irrespective of their Kula, who leads a life according to the do's and don'ts prescribed by Shastram, in keeping with Dharma, following, upholding values, all of them are Vaidika. Now, how does one follow the path of Dharma? One follows the path of Dharma by exposing himself to satsangas. One has to expose himself to satsanga at least, a little bit. Otherwise, it is, a materialistic life, a monotonous life where one just chases money and comfort, pleasure and nothing else. So where one exposes himself or herself to satsangas, through the satsangas, through the lessons learnt, and by moving with people, noble people in the satsangas, one develops what is called viveka, the power of discrimination. It starts with dharma viveka, that this is dharma and this is adharma. And dharma being samanya dharma, and understands what Vishesha Dharma is, what are his specific duties in his personal life and as a part of the society. And he also understands what is Samanya Dharma, all the values he inculcates, and he becomes a Viveki, a Shishtaha. And thereafter, therefore, a Vaidikaha, this is the first stage, okay? A Vaidikaha, he exposes himself to satsanga and he becomes a Viveki. Now, where one becomes a Viveki, slowly he understands through the experiences of this world, he understands that the world around him is anityam, and his quest for that vastu that is nityam begins, gradually begins. Therefore, and again through satsanga and study of Shastram, he comes to know that Bhagavan is the source of Purnatvam. And Bhagavan is the one who is most desirable. Therefore, Shishtanam, Vivekinam, Vidushanam, Ishtaha, the one who is desired by the Vivekis. Therefore, Bhagavan is called Shishta Ishtaha, Shishteshtaha. Shishtanam Ishtaha. The second stage of derivation is, Shankara says, Shishtaihi Ishtaha Pujita Itiva Shishteshtaha. These Shishtas, they know that Bhagavan is the only one who is the end. There is no other end that is desirable. The only end that is desirable is Bhagavan. And therefore, they lead a life with Bhagavan, keeping Bhagavan as the end. Now, what is the means for them to attain Bhagavan? There is no other means other than Bhagavan himself. They understand that it is only through Bhagavan, worshipping him, that I finally attain him through knowledge. Therefore, because he is worshipped by the Shishtas, Shishtaihi Ishtaha. Ishtaha here takes the meaning of worship. Okay, Shishtaihi Ishtaha, that is Pujitaha itiva Shishteshtaha. Because he is worshipped by them, he is called Shishtaihi Ishtaha. So the first stage is Shishtanam Ishtaha, the one who is desired by the Vivekis. The second stage is the one who is worshipped by those Vivekis. Now the third stage. Shishta Ishta Asyetiva Shishteshtaha. Shishta Ishta Asyetiva. This Viveki, qualifying himself with the means of worship, the various yajnas, karma yoga, upasana yoga, ityadi sadhanas, he qualifies himself, and being a qualified student, he studies Shastram and he acquires the knowledge of Bhagavan. He comes to know of Bhagavan as whom? As Adrishyaha, right? As the very subject. Sometime back we saw this Nama. So, as the very self, as the one who is not different from the self. Therefore, this Viveki who is a Jignasu now becomes a Jnani. And in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, a Jnani is one with Bhagavan. He becomes the most Ishta to Bhagavan. He is desired by Bhagavan. Okay, so therefore, Shishta Ishta Asyetiva Priyohi Jnaninotyartam Aham Sacha Mama Priyaha. In 7th chapter, Bhagavan says, such a Jnani who sees me as non-different from him, who knows me as non-different from him, is the most Priya to me, the one who is most desirable, the one who I love the most. And going back to the revelation by Brihadaranyaka Upanishad that we just saw, Brihadaranyaka says, what is most loved is nothing but the self. So what is, when Bhagavan is saying that is the most loved one for me, then it cannot be different from Bhagavan's own self. Meaning, the person, the individual is not different from Bhagavan. So he becomes Ishtaha to Bhagavan. First, Bhagavan was Ishtaha to him. Then Bhagavan was Ishtaha because he did puja for him. He qualified himself. He attained the knowledge. And then Bhagavan says, this person is my Ishtaha. Meaning, Aikya Bodhaka. He is not different from Bhagavan. 311. Shikandi. Shikandi means, this Nama refers to the Krishna Avatara, the one who has the peacock feather, who is decorated with the peacock feather. Shikandi. 312. Nahushaha. Nahushaha. Not Nagu, it is Nahu. Naha, not Visarga, the letter Ha, okay, written with the letter Ha. Na and Ha. Naha means bondage. The one who binds all with his Maya Shakti. He is called Nahushaha. Where one does not seek Bhagavan and he lives a life in keeping with his Ragadvesha alone, that person is indeed a person who is bonded. Because generally there is a thought saying that, in the world, say, I am free to do whatever I want, it is my freedom. No, living the way you want is in fact not freedom. You are bound by your Ragadveshas. Right? So, where one does not seek Bhagavan, one does not follow the path of Dharma, one does not follow Vedic injunctions and leads a life according to his own whims and fancies, then he is indeed a person who is bound by Ragadvesha. And Bhagavan, who is in the form of the very self, Atma, can be known only when this person chooses to know Bhagavan. One has to choose. One has to choose to know Bhagavan. And the knowledge of Bhagavan can only happen where he chooses and then exposes himself to a systematic study and knows Bhagavan. Through Jnanam alone, Bhagavan is known, and that is called Sakshatkara or Darshana. Darshanam of Bhagavan or Sakshatkara of Ishvara is nothing but through knowledge. Because Bhagavan is already there. It is not that he is somewhere and he suddenly appears because, I keep studying, and because of the tapas that is created, Bhagavan finally feels that, I have to give darshana for this person. He doesn't come, from somewhere else and he suddenly appears in front of me. He is already there and I don't know him. I am unable to recognize who Bhagavan is or what Bhagavan is because my intellect is covered with ignorance. Maya Shakti, the power of Maya, the Avarana Shakti of Maya, the Shakti of Maya that covers the truth. Therefore, through seeking the knowledge of Bhagavan and by knowing Bhagavan, by knowledge, one attains moksha or liberation. And that is where one is free from bondage. Therefore, the one who binds you with his Maya Shakti, seemingly, that is why he is called Nahushaha. 313. Vrishaha. Shankara says, Kamanam Varshanat Varshaha Dharmaha. Dharma is called Vrisha because it is the path of Dharma that helps one attain the desires, whatever one desires. Through Dharma, how does Dharma help attain whatever one desires? Because through Dharma one earns punyam. And it is the punyam that makes things work for you. Right? Otherwise, one will only keep facing obstacles in his pursuit. And Bhagavan being the Phaladata, he gives the punya. He blesses the person. Bhagavan also gives papa. So what is that? Papa is also blessing. When Bhagavan bestows papam on you, that is also blessing. How? Because that gives me strength. Only the difficult moments in my life, only those challenges that I face in my life, all the down in my life, all the ups in my life, all right, there is very less ability to learn, right? I learn only from my fall. Whenever I fall, whenever I fail. Therefore, that goes to strengthen me. And he gives that papam, and by giving the papam, he clears the papam in your account, right? Therefore, whether he bestows punya or papam on me, he is bestowing his blessing on me. That is definitely a blessing only. And just like how you take a sugar crystal, every side of the sugar crystal is sweet. Similarly, every aspect of Bhagavan you take, it is nothing but his anugraha alone. And Bhagavan is invoked as Vrishaha, as the blessing. And his anugraha is sought. 314. Krodaha. Krodaha. This and the next nama, 315, go hand in hand. Krodakrit karta. Krodaha meaning here, for Krodakrit karta only there are different meanings. Here there is only one meaning. Krodam hanti iti krodaha. Shankara says, Krodam hanti. The one who destroys your anger, he is the one, Bhagavan, who, being the destroyer of your anger, he is called Krodaha. There is no Visarga again. It is letter Ha. And Dirgha Shabda. Krodaha. Ha meaning hanti. He destroys your anger. Now, there are some people who will advise you. If you are a person who is short-tempered, you would have definitely received this advice at least from 10 people around you. Okay? You should learn to control your anger. You should not get angry like this. It is very bad. You have to control. You have to control. Now, have you ever wondered how to control this anger? Now, how can I control something that which is holding me? When I am angry, I am held by the anger. I am already a captive of the anger. Now, how can I control anger? Right? So, how do I drop something that is holding me? If I am holding something, I can drop it. But when something else is holding me, now how do I gain control over it? Once I understand that I am held captive and it is not something that I am holding to drop, then I recognize my helplessness. Right? So once I understand this and I recognize my helplessness with respect to my anger, what do I do? When you are helpless, what do? You seek help. Right? So when I recognize my helplessness, I seek help. And one should understand that the psychological order is also Ishvara. He is not only the physical order in this universe, he is also the psychological order. I seek help from him as my Krodaha, as the one who will destroy my anger. Now, I am not going to pray to him, I am not going to ask him to destroy my anger so that I don't be angry at all. No, I am not going to tell him I don't want to be angry at all. I only seek help to manage the anger, to manage my anger, so that in my anger, I don't lose my basic sense, basic common sense, and I go to the extent of victimizing or hurting somebody. I don't use words that goes to pain somebody. Right? So, and does it mean that no, I have to control my anger, I have to keep my anger inside? That is also very dangerous. If you are going to attempt bottling your anger that way, what will happen is it will burst some way or the other, or it is going to result in, it is going to put you in a lot of health issues later on. Right? So, express it. Anger has to be expressed to exhaust the anger out. At the same time, you are not supposed to hurt anyone. Now, how to do that? One idea that is prescribed is, if you are angry, just isolate yourself, take a paper and pen and write down. Just write down whatever you want to shout at the person. I think you'll get tired by the time you write. right? It is easy to just say blah, 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 blah and just burst the person out. But when you start writing, you get exhausted. And then what do you do with the paper? File it and keep it. No. Tear it and throw it, right? By the end of your essay writing, you would have been tired and your anger would have also calmed down, right? Then that person is not there anymore, that angry person, right? He or she is gone. So tear it and throw the paper. This is one way. The other way is, if you really have a very good companion to whom you can express your emotions, and that person can be a good listener and comfort you and help you, exhaust your emotion out, a very trustworthy person, then you can say, can I have 5 minutes? And then, just take all the weight in your heart out and, express it to that person. So this is another way. Or if you don't have one person who can really help you out that way, and you are not capable of writing also, I'm not in a mood of writing, then the other thing that you can do is close the door, lock yourself, and look at the mirror and keep shouting for some time. Express it out. Okay. So Bhagavan is the one, and pray, because Bhagavan is the one who will give you that Viveka Shakti, all the strength that you need to win over your anger, to manage your anger. Therefore, he is Krodhaha. 315. Krodhakrit Karta. Krodhakrit Karta. Here, Shankara gives the meaning. He gives two meanings. The first meaning is Krodham Karoti Krodhakrit. Yeah. What he does is, he gives the meaning for, he takes it as two namas first, okay, as Krodhakrit and Karta. So for Krodhakrit, he says, Krodham Karoti iti Krodhakrit. He is the one who causes anger, therefore he is Krodhakrit. And Bhagavan, being the very psychological order also, now, he is the one who causes the anger, that's what I am saying. He is the very psychological order, and where there is an adharma that I am perceiving, I perceive something, very different around me, which causes inner pain. And this connection, because Bhagavan is the psychological order, he brings about the connection between the situation and the inner pain, right? They are related. And he is both Krodhakrit, he is the one who brings anger in my mind, and he is also the one who can help me manage that anger. Therefore, he is Krodhakrit, and he is the therapist as well. He is Krodhaha. He is the one who creates the anger in me, and he is the one who dissolves the anger, or the one who helps me manage my anger. Krodhakrit and Krodhaha. Now the Karta part of it, Shankara says, Kriyate iti karma jagat tasya karta. That which is created is karma, and whatever is created is also called karma. Therefore, in that sense, we can say Jagat that is created is karma. Therefore, Jagat is karma. And Bhagavan, being the creator of this Jagat, he is the Nimitta Karanam, he is the Karta. When I say Bhagavan is the Karta, then when I understand that Bhagavan is the Karta of the entire Jagat, of everything, then my Kartrutva, that saying that I have, my individuality is negated or is dissolved into Bhagavan, who is the Almighty. And even the free will that I have is endowed by Bhagavan, because it's very interesting. See, the free will that you have, you enjoy because of your prarabdha. Your prarabdha has only given the human body, the human birth, because of which the free will is fully active, right? If you had taken any other birth, free will is not so free in the other animals or in any other living being. So, prarabdha, this I have a free will because of prarabdha, and this prarabdha is because of karmapala data, who is Bhagavan. Right? Therefore, Bhagavan is the one who endows my free will as well. Since he gave me the free will, and because of the free will, I think I am the karta. Where you analyze every aspect of kartrutva, every nut and bolt of kartrutva, you analyze that it is only Bhagavan who is the karta, and there is no other karta. And from the standpoint of the world, Bhagavan is the karta, and from his own standpoint, he is akarta. This is what he reveals in Gita, saying, Tasya kartaram apimam vidhi akartaram avyayam. This is very beautiful for those who have taken up the study of Gita. It is nice to parallelly study Gita and Vishnu Sahasranamam. We will soon begin Bhagavad Gita classes. 316. Vishvabahuhu. Vishvesham alambanattvena Vishvabahuhu asyetiva Vishvabahuhu. Vishvabahu meaning, in order to support this entire Vishwa, how does he support? He needs to support. Therefore, he does it through numerous hands and he spreads it over all of the universe. That is Vishvabahu. His hands are everywhere. Everyone's hands are his hands. And the last nama of this shloka, Mahidaraha, 317, it occurs for one more time as the 369th nama, and we will see the derivation of that later. Here, Mahim iti Mahidaraha. Earth is called Mahi. And because Bhagavan is the one who supports or sustains the earth and the living beings here, he is called Mahidaraha. Mahi also means puja in another derivation. Because Bhagavan is the one who receives the puja, he is Mahidaraha. Therefore, in both senses, he is Mahidaraha. So that completes the 34th shloka also. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Just wanted to make one small announcement. There was a request to name the batches that we have, the Vedanta batches, and therefore we have assigned names to every batch that we are now handling. This batch, and we decided to keep the names according to the great universities that were there in Bharatam. We are naming our batches after the great universities, and accordingly, the name for this Vishnu Sahasranamam batch of students, we have called this batch Nalanda. Nalanda is was a very big university where students from various countries came in and studied. So it was flourishing during the Pushyabhuti Empire under Harshavardhana. There are beautiful stories about the Nalanda University where Huan Sang from the China came in and he studied Sanskritam in Nalanda. So there are a lot of scholars who came into Nalanda and studied. So we are naming this Vishnu Sahasranama batch as the Nalanda batch, right? And we have the names for the other batches also. We will share them in the WhatsApp group. So we will meet next week same time. Hari Om.